So things kind of took a turn in February. Just a bit, just a little bit. Hi everybody, today I am doing my Power Sheets check-in for the month of February and setting up my goals for March. This month, you guys, has been a bit of a head spinner for me and my family. I've talked a little bit about something that has been weighing heavily on my mind this month, but then I couldn't talk about it. No, I'm not pregnant. Before I get into it, I also want to apologize in case I pick up any noise from outside. They're doing so much construction outside, and this is the best time I had to film, so I am doing my best. So let's take a look at my February tending list, where you will notice I didn't get as much done as I had hoped to. You can see that the book club and the Discord are almost done. I am just wrapping things up this week for the things I wanted to get finished for them. I did not write the Facebook group rules, and I'll be talking more about that for my March goals because I'm kind of having to pivot on that for the reasons we're about to discuss. I did get my Skillshare class curriculum planned, and I'm hopefully pushing publish on my Skillshare class this coming up Friday. I believe it is the what day is that? I didn't even look. Looks like it's Friday the 26th. I will be pushing play on a Skillshare class that is about lettering, and it's not brush lettering. Looking at my hatch routine, again, I just haven't used it. I have been so in my head this month that I haven't even touched it, so I'm going to attempt the hatch situation next month. I'm assuming that's gonna be part of my goals as well. I got the automatic savings set up, and we have done everything except for actually file our taxes, which I think we'll be doing either Friday or Saturday, so I hope to have that checked off. You can check my Instagram at Llama Letters because I am sure I will trumpet it in stories or on the feed, or probably both, because doing taxes every year is a pain in my ass, and will be the first time I'll be doing them in February since I started working for myself, let's just say. Going to my weekly tasks, cleaning plan has been going okay, but again, not as good as I'd hoped to. Jesse's been cooking. Whether he's been cooking with the kids or not, he has been cooking, and we have been working on sleep routines as best as we can be, but I did not get any workflows set up, and I did some work on a fuckery flower, but did not get close to finishing it, again, because of the stuff that's been going on, which I'll talk about in a hot minute. I know you guys are like, Cindy, just fucking tell us, but give me a second, okay? I gotta have the flow of the video here. And then my daily actions have been going okay. The school accountability stuff has been good on the days when the kids have school, and this daily stoic, there were some times where I got a couple days behind, and I would just read it and give myself credit for those days because I did read those days instead of just skipping over them. Overall, though, not a very consistent month for me. I got some of the things done and other things just got completely neglected. Once I checked in with my tending list, I did take a second and go back to my quarterly action plans to update kind of where I'm at with those things, and you'll notice here that I'm actually using the Zig clean color dot pens rather than the stickers and the highlighters that I have been using, mostly because I wanted to give them a try, and I plan on reviewing them sometime next month. And I found colors that matched all of them pretty well in my set of them, except for the extra green for my creativity. So I used a lot of greens this year. So I decided to go with gray because I like gray, and so I thought I would use it. And there's no gray in the Power Sheets colors, so I thought, what the hell, why not? So now let's go to the month in review. People I'm grateful for and why. My sisters, my cousin, and my patrons, because they have been letting me vent and talk through my feelings about all of this moving shit. That's right, we are moving to Denver, probably by June. Beginning of June, most likely. It's a work situation for Jesse. He was offered a position in Denver that we kind of had to take. Like, we had choices. We were able to sort of look through the choices, but the Denver move made the most sense for our family, and I'm sure some of you are like, but what about custody? We are working on that right now to figure it out. My ex-husband was actually planning on a move himself sometime in the very near future out of state, so this conversation is not new to my kids, but I'll talk more about it in upcoming videos as it gets more firmed up. But suffice it to say that we will be selling this house, moving to Denver, and buying a new house all within the next, 4 months or so? Wait, let's see here. March, April, May. Yeah, 3 months. March, April, May, to move by June 1st. So it'll be like our 90 days for our goal to be in Denver in a week. A little bit less. Oh, fuck. We are working with a relocation company and movers and so on and so forth. Like, this is not an unsupported move. This is very much a move that is getting support from Jesse's work. Suffice it to say, we found this out my birthday weekend, and all month I have been a stress case. That hasn't stopped. Good things this month, the Denver situation, with all the stressful things that are coming out of this. The good thing is that it sounds kind of like a fun adventure, and I have always wanted to move to Bend in Oregon, where my sister lives, which is the high desert, and Denver has a similar climate and a similar vibe, just bigger from everything I understand. And I still want to make it to Bend eventually, but the idea of going to Denver is very cool to me. On top of that, I've lived in the same 2-hour radius in California my entire life. The thought of going somewhere else, especially after being stuck in my house for a year, it sounds pretty awesome to me. Now, moving across states in a pandemic is not the business, but we kind of have to. I'll talk a lot more about all of the aspects of this in a later video, but I'm kind of just giving you what I can right now. The other good thing this month that I wanted to highlight was the weekend of Valentine's Day. Jesse and I went for a drive up to Calistoga, up Valley, to our favorite sushi place. We got some takeout and ate on the side of the road there, and it was a beautiful day, and it was just nice. It was our little adventure for the month, and it was just nice to get out of the house. What I read or listened to. I read a bunch of books, but the books that I kind of thought about when I was filling this out was Little Fires Everywhere, and I finished the All Souls trilogy, enjoyed both. And then I discovered, I didn't discover her, but she is new to me, is Phoebe Bridgers. I'm freaking loving Phoebe Bridgers. Goals that are growing well, prioritizing my mental health, and talking to and teaching my kids. I feel like we have had a very kind of adult month with my kids and having these conversations about moving, relocating, changing custody, their needs, their mental needs, their physical needs, all of that. I'm actually very proud of them for the way that they have kind of gotten through this. Favorite memories from this month: the eating by the sushi by the side of the road, Jesse, having good conversations with my kids. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Loki and Lucy had a kind of a cat battle on the top of the cat tree with the multiple platforms, and Loki was on the top platform where Lucy likes to sit, and so they were kind of kitty smacking each other. And normally when this happens, Loki gets bored or gets annoyed and leaves, and Lucy gets whatever he wants. But this time Loki continued until Lucy rolled over on his back in submission, and Loki looked down at him like, "Yes, kitten, I accept your submission," and then slow blinked at him, and it was really cute. My cats are buddies. I'm choosing grace over guilt. No surprise here. Being super inconsistent at most of my goals because I've got a good reason, yo. And then I'm saying yes to this month, taking things one day at a time. And I'm saying no to procrastination, especially in regards to the move, because we don't have enough time to procrastinate, yo. I am going to continue finishing up as best as I can the quarterly goals. I'm not going to make a huge adjustment to them yet because we haven't quite gotten our heads around a lot of the things that have to get done. But I will say that in April, when I refresh my goals, they will take a hard refresh, most likely, at least some of them. You'll see, I'm sure, as the month goes on. But yeah, I will be working kind of within what I've got, making changes as I need to. Does that make sense? Maybe. I really am distracted by the noise outside. Let's get into the power sheets. Now moving into March. Bloom where you've been planted. Well, what if we're getting uprooted, right? So I think before I actually get into the power sheets for the month, I am going to put this organization and decluttering wild card here in the front. You know, we have to work on stuff to get the house ready to sell, but we also are going to need to get rid of some shit. We plan to hold a garage sale before we move to sell a lot of our stuff so we don't have to take it with us. Decluttering, whoops, well that ended that one. Okay. Decluttering is going to be a situation. I'm going to just quickly jot down all the different rooms of the house to work on getting decluttering. We have the kids' rooms on here. They're each going to do their own room because they're teenagers. It's their shit. Both bathrooms can be done. They're quick. We have tiny bathrooms. For kitchen, I divided it into edible and non-edible. So like kitchenware, appliances, things like that versus spices and stuff in the pantry, like what's going to go with us. My office, which is fairly done already from the redo, but I want to give it another once over. And then for our bedroom, I have it broken into books because all of my books are in the bedroom except for a few in the garage, and I am going to keep most of them, but I'm probably going to thin out the herd a little bit. But I'm going to keep most of them because I've already thinned the herd out when I moved them into the house. And then clothes, again, we have been going through those fairly often. I don't think that will be actually a big deal, but just another once through. It's the joy of living in a small house. Like, we've had to continually go through our stuff to make sure we don't have way too much because we don't have any room for it. And then everything else in our bedroom, you know, the nightstands, other stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then the linen closet, which will probably be one of the first things I do because it'll be one of the easiest ones to do, but it probably will be one of the ones that I get rid of the most. And then the garage is the big one, and that one's going to be multiple sessions because our garage is big and it's full of a lot of shit. We are going to look at it from the view of, do we really want to transport this across states? These will be likely the things I'll be working on all month. Let's go to prepare well, which is, the situation where you prepare well. That is the School of Redundancy School, Cindy. It's probably not surprising that my important to-dos are massive this month. A lot of them most of them, I guess, having to do with this big move. So decluttering the house, inventorying the house, so we know what we're going to take with us, what we want to sell at a garage sale, what we want to donate, and most of the things, if we don't sell them at the garage sale, we will donate. We're already looking at Habitat Restore, our local one, to see about some of the furniture we don't want to take with us, what is just garbage. And then we need to schedule the garage sale. We need to schedule a trip in April to look at houses and hopefully find one. That one we will likely bring the kids with us. One thing we would have done if it was not COVID was go to Denver earlier this month, February, before we decided that we would go ahead with this move because we wanted to see the place before we moved out there, but it seemed like an unnecessary trip to take during COVID. But it is important that we go out there at least once before we move so that we can familiarize ourselves with the place and see the house that we're going to look to buy. We're going to be as safe as we can. Like, I have been doing nothing but staying inside. I haven't done any traveling. I even missed Christmas with my sister, like most of us over this pandemic. But this is a trip we're going to have to take because we have to move during a pandemic. It's the way things have to go. Handyman projects, things I don't have to do, but we have to get scheduled. There's a couple things around the house that need to get finished before we can sell. Just projects that, normally would just be done at our leisure as homeowners, but if we want to sell, we need to kind of wrap them up. And then I am working on a course related to illustration, and it is one that I have wanted to take for a couple of years now. And one thing I want to make sure to do is to stay on track with that, even with everything else, because I think that will keep me feeling creative and good about myself and my mental health during this process. We have some vet appointments for the cats we need to take care of, both to get them ready to travel, which I'll talk more about in upcoming videos, but also they are behind on some of their appointments because of COVID. And then finally, I have some medical testing that needs to start getting done this next month. So there is that. I'm excited for making a moving binder, and I put haha, but seriously, this is my good times, man, the organizing part of things, and I will be doing a video on that. I am probably more overwhelmed than excited for a lot of these things, and that's just me writing that there, to be honest. And then here I put kids are back in school 4 half days per week, so every day except for Wednesdays, and they'll be virtual as of this coming up Monday. I am both nervous and excited about that. We have the option to pull them right back to virtual school if we feel like it's necessary, but we only had the chance to opt into it right now at the beginning of this phase, so we decided to give it a try. But that also is on my mind. And of course the move and my health with the move, juggling all of the things, bunch of things that are kind of going on at once. It's sort of overwhelming me. And then I'm hopeful that things go smoothly and we don't fall behind schedule. I still don't know what to do with this calendar, although this might be a great place to plot in stuff having to do with the move, but we haven't quite organized our thoughts that way yet, so I may come back to this. But for right now, I'm going to skip it. And I'm going to brainstorm my month. And one of the reasons I wanted to use the Zig clean color pens this month instead of the highlighters or the stickers is because I wanted to be able to write down what each thing is in its color, just so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth when I am organizing my tending list. I just figured it would be a more efficient use of my time, and efficiency of my time is something that I am thinking about right now. Like I said already, I'm not going to be revising my quarterly goals until the end of March. I am going to just move along with these goals this month, adapting them a little bit to our changed circumstances. When it comes to growing my community deeper and broader, I'm going to have to wrap up the book club, refresh Patreon tiers and rewards. One of the things I have been wanting to do is to ask a series of questions of my patrons to find out what they would be interested in. So that'll be the thing that I might use as a weekly goal, is patron polls to find where and how my community exists. So I have done most of the refreshing of Discord already, and I have a little bit more to finish up, like I said, but that will be pretty much done. There are two kind of things, I guess, with my community and with the things I'm doing. They were already pushed to the back burner, and now they're especially back to the back burner because of the move, and that is the Big Llamas Love Lettering Facebook group and the podcast, both of which I had hoped to be able to work on in March, but I don't think I'm going to have the bandwidth for that. I don't want to mess with that while I'm also trying to move an entire house as well as everything else. So yeah, create and post a future plan for the Uncurated Life and the Facebook group, because neither of them are going to disappear forever, but I really cannot devote resources to them at the moment. And I think that will kind of bring me to create and follow through on an all community plan. I feel like if I can get some of these things set into stone, or at least published as like what's going on, then I will be able to continue to work on other stuff, not be so like stressed that I have these loose threads dangling. Now, one thing I was thinking about when I was looking at my goal 2, the systems and sustainability in my business, I don't want to create lots of systems right now that I might alter once we've moved, but create a year-long business plan is my mini goal, and I've done a lot of these things. The begin creating workflows is not really attached to that mini goal. It's sort of attached to a further goal. So I think I'm going to move this guy to later in the year because I'm just not ready for. I think I could pretty much say I'm feeling good about this year-long business plan. The most important thing that I am going to need that's not really on this list, but it kind of is part of this goal that I'm going to need while we're dealing with all of this other shit having to do with moving is a really clear expectation of time I'm going to be spending working versus time I'm going to be spending working on the move. It is really easy for me, and if you work for yourself, you might recognize this. It's easy for me to kind of cannibalize my working time for house stuff time because I'm in charge of all my time and I'm not great at setting boundaries for myself when it comes to that. I think maybe what I'll do is put on my weekly ideas, batch time weekly, and stick to it. That way I am not cannibalizing any of my work time. I'm able to set aside time each week for stuff for work and for stuff for the move and then stick to it. I am planning to do more vlogs coming up soon because I think that there's a lot of stuff to kind of keep track of. But I think that would be the only thing from that systems and sustainability, mostly because I feel like a lot of those systems are going to be sort of in flux until we get settled into a new place. Infuse all aspects of my business with creativity. This is actually something that is important for me to maintain this month. I think that infusing all aspects of my business with creativity is going to be easier in the next couple of months because I'm going to have this sort of like influx of new material for all of the things I do with this thing I've never done before, which is a cross-country move. Looking at this for my full year creative structure to finish that, the only thing I have not finished, I have started but have not finished, is developing an Instagram plan, and I do want to finish that. I'm enjoying being back on Instagram, but I kind of slacked off when it came to doing a few things in this last week, and then I've been disappeared off of Instagram because of it. I can be creative, but I also need to be very routine with what I do on Instagram to be able to make it a habit, and I'm not done with that yet. I'm going to definitely focus on that this as a monthly goal. The other thing I put on here is something that has sort of developed out of my time on Instagram. I want to post a lettering reels every week because I have had, or doodling, I guess, I have gotten a lot of requests to bring back a lot of the lettering and the doodling stuff, and I'm happy to do that. And reels really weird me out, but this is one thing I feel comfortable with. This goal 4, the action plan with the kids, empowering them to be adults with a strong sense of self. So we want to continue the sleep routines, the daily exercise, and the cooking with Jess weekly, and the regular school accountability. We just want to continue those things. I feel like doing these things kind of develops the weekly routine, but we will be coming back to it once we move to Denver. The thing that I want to teach them for adulting this month is probably, we still haven't done it yet, but it's probably going to be taxes because we're going to do them this week. The other thing they're learning about, they had to make their very specific adulting choice about figuring out their custody situation. So there is that too. I'm not going to discount that at all. But yeah, we're just going to continue these weekly and daily routines. Goal number 5, create a secure, life-giving home. This is the goal that is kind of getting the most sort of jacked with because of our situation. So the cleaning routines and the cleaning plans, as much as we're working on those, they're getting kind of thrown to the wayside. I've already talked a little bit about that. But our biggest situation this month is to get the home ready to sell. I've already written down some of the things that need to happen. So I'm just going to copy some of them from here to put over into the monthly or the weekly or the daily list. All the lists, man. Lists for fucking days. I like making lists, so it's not a bad thing. It's just a exists thing. But these are the basic things here. We've got schedule and plan the garage sale, plan the April trip, and inventory the house. And then on the daily thing, like I talked about already, I want to declutter. The one thing I didn't put on here was the handyman projects, mainly because Jesse's going to be the one handling getting those things figured out. And so I don't want to put it on my goal list because that means I'm gonna be keeping an eye on what he's doing, and I have my own shit to deal with. Oh, the other thing I do need to put on here, and I'm gonna put it in the house even though technically it's the pets, is to schedule the vet appointments, because I have been put in charge of the entire pet plan because they're going to be going in the car with us. Goal number 6, support my physical health with restorative habits. And again, like you probably saw when I went through all of this, I wasn't exactly on top of some of this shit. I've got the daily exercise routine, and that's going to go in the daily habits continually, and I still want to find a hatch routine, but I think I'm going to put using the hatch on my daily habits instead of a monthly thing. So just use the hatch rather than find the hatch routine, if that makes sense. And as for my mental health, my new morning routine has kind of taken a hit this month because I have been struggling with sleep because of anxiety of everything that's going on. So basically what I want for this month is to just continue some of the things I'm already doing, to practice getting up at the same time every day. I want to work on the illustration course I'm taking. I think it is going to be my healthy habit for the year, so it won't go on my power sheets, it'll go in my bullet journal. But I do want to get back to my 6 a.m. because that's been very sketchy this month. And then finally, my last goal, which is the big picture adulting practices, which I'm actually, of all the goals, is the one I'm feeling the best about. And I'm hoping to file taxes. I will leave a space in case I don't finish my taxes this week, but we want to finish our taxes this week. Then I don't have anything for this goal. I think that moving to Denver is plenty of big picture adulting shit to take care of. So, you know what the big picture adulting goal is for the month? Is the moving binder, because that's going to have a lot of the adulting shit in there, and it's going to really clarify some of the shit we have to get done. It looks like I've got 7 items here, and there's 10 spaces here, so that's plenty of room to put taxes. And then I have 5 weekly ideas, and there's 6 spaces, so that leaves an empty space there. And then for my habits, I have 5, which leaves 2 empty spaces. Plus, also, let's not forget about the course that's going to be going into my bullet journal. So I feel like I'm not going to be cramming this full, but the stuff I am putting in here is a fucking lot. My encouraging words are not a quote or anything. They're just some encouragement I'm going to need throughout the month, one step at a time, my dude, a little bit every day, because that's the way we're going to get through this move, is doing a little bit every day, not procrastinating and trying to do a bunch of shit at the last minute, which is my usual MO. And my priority for the month is the home declutter and inventory. If we can get all that finished this month, it'll make moving a whole lot easier, packing a whole lot easier, etc. You know, it's interesting here. Normally, I don't have a lot of money related, work related things on my weekly action items. And normally my house stuff is not usually filling up my tending list. This is kind of the way things work. And I'm really liking using these Zig dot pens for the stickers instead. It's just easier. It takes less time. But I will bust out some stickers for decorations because I'm enjoying doing that. And I've got the stickers, and I said I wanted to use up all the stickers here. The other big thing that I want to get done this month is the moving binder, because that will help us with everything else. And then remember how I always want to have a little thing for the thing that's going to be most helpful for my quality of life. It's this posting future plans for the podcast and Facebook, because a lot of people always ask me about that, and that'll just be one less thing on my mind. And I think this might be the time to bust out this "You are strong, brave, creative, capable, ready," this little sticker, because I think a little self-confidence will be super helpful for me, and I just need to make sure to leave room for taxes in case I need to put them on here as well. I couldn't find my sheet of washi tape stickers from the little book, so I decided to just layer a few stickers, including this one that says "Done is better than perfect." I think I need some extra encouragement this month, so that's what I'm going to go with. This is my completed power sheets for the month of March. As you can tell from this video, we have a lot happening this next month and over the next few months. My hope is that I'm going to be able to lean really hard on these power sheets to help me keep everything in track and in check in my bullet journal. That video will be coming out on Thursday, so make sure you're subscribed for that. You know, routines are all well and good, but when you start doing stuff by rote, you're just doing it, going through the motions because that's what you're used to doing. It can make you easily burned out or feel like your systems aren't working for you anymore. But this is the opposite of that. This is a time when all of the effort I put into my planning and the thought processes that I have trained myself to go through on a regular basis, this next few months, they're going to come into play, I hope. And I'm going to take you along with me for the ride. And I am keeping my fingers crossed and all of my thoughts going that the streamlined system I'm using of this Powersheets and my bullet journal, along with a moving binder, will help Jesse and I and the kids get through this process and get settled and hit the ground running in our new place to be able to explore, do all the things that we want to do, and keep us safe during COVID, of course. So who knows? I would love it if you let me know in the comments your top tips for moving, especially if you've moved to another state or like a long distance if you're not in the US. Jesse has moved across country, but that wasn't with a lot of stuff. So I'd love your tips in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, be careful because we love you, man. Make sure to subscribe, especially since my March bullet journal setup is coming up. And until next time, friends, peace out.